Yes, we did.
You wasn't invisible.
No, you
Guard your
didn't.
body.
No, you
Hey,
didn't. No, you didn't. It's not a human being on planet Earth that was outside the backyard like y'all gonna rip bro up. No, you didn't. G.
I was.
No, you didn't.
I
No,
was.
you weren't. G.
I
Especially as
was.
Jordan era.
I
G. No,
can't
you weren't.
shoot,
You
G.
grew
I
up
could
watching
never
Michael
shoot,
Jordan.
G.
G. You grew up watching Michael Jordan shoot game when there's
from
no way
Chicago.
you win. There's no way you win the backyard
Like,
did
G.
that. No, there's no
I
way
am
you
the
win the
I am
backyard
the
did.
oldest. I am the oldest of 4 brothers. You bet your ass I was trying to rip them up every single time. I didn't give a damn about scoring. I wanted to make them cry. I wanted to make them cry and quit and go in the house. And you didn't do that by scoring points. You did that by defeating them, by taking away their will.
So let me ask you another question. I'm gonna say this again. If the average offense is 13 out of 26, and the defense is rated number 1 in all the NBA through the playoffs, and you have the defensive player of the year on that team, who deserves the credit, TP? You don't got to.
Who you trying to get the credit to? Dennis Rodman?
I'm just saying.
I know there's not another pro Dennis Rodman conversation.
No. This is the point that to counsel that they built the team around Zeke. He was actually the worst defensive player on the team.
Glasses, you gonna make me get up and walk out of my own house.
He was the worst defensive player backcourt. Joe Dumars was a better defender backcourt. Period. And literally, you had the best defensive player possibly of all time, the most versatile on the team, on a horrible offensive team. Yet we still keep talking about Isiah Thomas, who at best was an above-average offensive player. He wasn't an all-time great. He's not Magic Johnson, where in the Showtime Lakers, you could have the number 1 offense and the number 10 defense and still win a championship because you had that kind of offense. So it's no different than Tony Parker, who also was the best offensive player for a couple years with the Spurs. Even 2 or 3 championships. Maybe 2 championships, he probably was the best offensive player. Yet we would never give him credit. That's the problem. That's my problem. That literally we're going to give Zeke credit.
So what was Tony Parker's job?
Best offensive player on a defensive team.
What was Tony Parker's job?
To do the same thing Isiah Thomas did. They play the exact same way. They do the exact same thing. The only difference is the Spurs offense is not as stagnant. So therefore, Tony Parker's not holding the ball all fucking day at the top of the key. They actually won championships because he didn't do that.
So Joe Dumars didn't matter?
Yes, of course I give Joe Dumars a lot of credit as a backcourt, but he's not defensive player of the year.
Okay, in my opinion, it was built around Isiah, but they stumbled upon Rodman halfway. I mean, Rodman got drafted 86, was it? 86? 86? They stumbled upon Rodman and was like, oh shit, like we have, like even the doctor said, yo, we have to start Rodman. Rodman gives us a different element that we never had before. And then that's really, they really took off, and what was it, 63 and 19, won the ring and became champion. I wouldn't say it was built around Rodman, but I would say that Rodman was probably the most pivotal. The thing that they couldn't lose the most on that team was Dennis Rodman.
Okay, so was the 2004 Pistons built around Ben Wallace?
I think so. Yes.
No.
Other than that,
no.
I think so.
Around Chauncey.
Nah, I think that was built around Ben. I think that Ben was like the first piece, and they were like, all right. Because I think Ben was winning Defensive Player of the Year since like, 02?
4 times. He literally was a defensive centerpiece of the NBA.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard for us to give credit to defense the way we give it to offense? Again, it's because when you're a kid, you dream of taking the last shot, not making the last stop. It's right there in our hands. Like literally, we give credit to Magic Johnson because he was the greatest. He's probably the greatest offensive player, you know what I mean, of all time. Literally, he played on always not good defensive teams. I don't think no championship Laker team that he played on was good defensively. They were all maybe at best within 10, but none of them were ever the number 1 defensive team. Never in life. They was never top 3. The championship winning versions of the Showtime Lakers were never a top 3 defensive team. Their offense was always 1, 2, or 3. The Pistons, the Bad Boy Pistons, never had a top 5 offense.
I agree. I think that people now look, I will, because we had discussed earlier. I think that people do give Isiah Thomas too much credit for those championships because Isiah obviously is the most famous of everybody. So I think people do hump a lot of credit on Isiah. Really, it was honestly a team defensive effort as to why they won those rings. It wasn't like nobody was going out there giving you 25 a game.
With a defensive centerpiece. So even at that point, they played the same role. Tony Parker and Tony Parker and Isaiah Thomas played the same role.
When they were winning,
I'll give
you the fact that they played the same role when they were winning. I think that Isaiah Thomas played that role a little bit better, and I also think that we've seen what Isaiah did in a different role when they built the team around.
Again, I don't. If that role is not successful, I'm not going to give it credit.
I mean, it was successful, just not to the level of championship.
Well, that's success in the NBA. That's what we play for, the trophy. You can't just be like, okay, you got good stats and you got kicked out the first round, or you didn't make the playoffs.
I won't lie, the Dennis Rodman take is real. Like he not just saying this. He really believes this. This man, every argument we have somehow always wind up getting back to Dennis Rodman.
Well, it's not.
Dennis Rodman is like the Ray J of the NBA. You know how they say like Ray J got like a continuing through line throughout like hip hop and rap history. That's what Dennis Rodman he is. Dennis Rodman is the Ray J of the NBA. G.
It's really credit to
think
defense.
about it. Shout out to Ray J.
But it's really credit to defense. That's what the Dennis Rodman conversation is. Credit to defense. Like we'll talk to somebody who talk about the 2008 Celtics, and we'll be talking about Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's clearly Kevin Durant. Kevin
Durant. Teams had a horrid offense. Their offense was trash.
It wasn't good.
Trash. So that means Paul Pierce, as an offensive player, could not have been this all-time great offensive player. That's not to say he couldn't get buckets, but again, to make an offensive themed team work, think about how rare offensive themed teams have won championships. I can't even think of that many teams that had the number one offense without having, like the Bulls, the first three-peat Bulls. That was a great offensive team and above average defensive team, but it was a number one offensive team. Showtime Lakers. Really? And maybe the Warriors.
The Warriors even like number one in defense, even when they won. Usually they were number one
for offensive teams to win titles. Steve Nash, the Jazz, they had great offenses, never was going to get a title. So again, we will give credit to offensive players when it wins titles, but we don't want to give credit to defensive players. The Rodman is the bad boy. It's funny because we can look at Tony Parker's contribution to the Spurs. He averaged 25 points in the finals, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, won the finals MVP. Isaiah Thomas did the same thing, averaged 27.
I told him
like Isaiah Thomas, and we'll give credit to Tim Duncan, but we won't give credit to Dennis Rodman.
I said the same thing. I say it all the time. I say Tony Parker is the reason why LeBron didn't win that ring. If Tony Parker wasn't there, then LeBron wouldn't have won. But LeBron, yes, most of those games going into the fourth quarter,
still would have relaxed.
Wait a minute. Most of those games going into the fourth quarter was within like at least 9 points.
They were.
Tony Parker put the game away in almost every single one of them games. They could not stop that man.
And you know who that was? You know who that is? Isaiah Thomas. But you know what happened on the other end? Tim Duncan happens on the other end. Bruce Bowen happens on the other end. Because at the end of the day, if there's a showdown of scoring between LeBron James and Tony Parker, right? Okay, yeah. Tony Parker, who do Tony Parker got to score on?
Booby Gibson.
LeBron James got to score on.
Bruce Bowen and then Tim Duncan.
Bruce Bowen to Tim Duncan.
I mean, but also, wait a minute. LeBron guarded Tony Parker a lot in that series as well. Yeah, but nobody could stop that man.
But Tony Parker just too fast for LeBron.
Yeah, it's not going to.
I mean, 280 pounds. You know, and Tony Parker again, him and Isaiah had the same game, which I'm arguing with a bunch of people who didn't really even watch Isaiah Thomas like I watch Isaiah Thomas. I'm trying to tell them that Tony Parker and Isaiah Thomas, they're the same player. Literally, just with the difference of opportunity. If you look at Tony Parker in championship seasons and Isaiah Thomas, their numbers are almost identical in championship seasons. Because that's how that point guard had to play when literally you might have been the best offensive weapon. And again,
let's go to the numbers.
Marcus Wire, who became a sixth man, who averaged 30 points a year or two before he played with them. That's because that offense wasn't enough. Same thing could be said for Manu Ginobili.
Also brought Adrian Danley too. They always have better scores than all the on the team.
The defense, Tim Duncan, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is the bad boy. Tim Duncan is the guy, just like Dennis Rodman was the guy. Yet somehow, he never wanted to give credit because he didn't put up 30 points or 26 points or 20 points. That 10 and 15 ain't enough. Lord knows guarding Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley,